The three bills that I am signing today send a single, straightforward message. Illinois will always be a place where women have the freedom to make their own medical decisions.
It's Governor J.B. Pritzker signing three bills yesterday at a bill signing ceremony in Chicago. The measures deal with abortion and reproductive rights. And a lot of advocates there yesterday in Chicago standing with the governor, including Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, Senate President Don Harmon, House Speaker Chris Welch, and various legislators that were involved in these three different pieces of legislation. So we could delve into all of what they had to say yesterday when they signed the bill, but I figured we would just reflect on some of the action in the debate on the House and Senate floor on these measures. So the three measures that the governor signed, here is State Representative Avalar talking about House Bill 581 in the House when it passed earlier this year.
Strikes the definition of hospital emergency services and redefines stabilizing care as explicitly including abortion when abortion is necessary to resolve a patient's injury or acute medical condition that is liable to cause death or severe injury or serious illness. It also prohibits the Department of Public Health from issuing a fine for a violation if the same conduct has been the subject of a fine assessed by the federal government. And it also removes the private right to action. This amendment brings the Illinois Hospital Association to neutral.
So the measure would essentially say that if there's a federal health care law that the Supreme Court overturned, Illinois would still have these policies in place. I believe the U.S. Supreme Court in June denied even taking that case. But regardless, the debate back and forth about this, saying that, it brings an element that's in place in Illinois right now, but it seems to impact medical decisions doctors may make. A Republican state legislator, Bill Howder, is a medical doctor, an emergency room physician. He reacted to this legislation on the House floor before it passed.
I've been practicing emergency medicine for 27 years. I've never been involved with a case or heard about a case where abortion was necessary to stabilize a patient. And if it happened, if it was needed, current Illinois law would not prevent it. So what we have here is confusion from clarity. This is what happens when lawyers try to practice medicine. Today we vote on another abortion bill that was conjured up in the last week from a shell bill with very little input from stakeholders, let alone the citizens of Illinois. This bill adds conditions, confusion. It emphasizes abortion where it would never be considered. It'd be contraindicated, it'd be dangerous, and implies doctors, nurses, and hospitals must prepare to perform or offer elective abortions to resolve acute medical conditions of pregnancy. Or maybe not, I don't know, it's confusing. I hope Illinois physicians continue to provide care to both the mother and the unborn with the highest standards of medical care and ignore Illinois' abortion politics. Vote no.
So clearly, some conflict there on the House floor when this ultimately came up, and I think it's interesting to note that Howder, he says that this bill was a gut and replace. We see a lot of that going on at the state legislature, especially in the final weeks of legislative session. But still reviewing, going back into time and looking at these bills that ultimately passed, that the governor signed three abortion-related bills in Chicago yesterday, but we wanted to look at the floor debate, both sides of this, right? I mean, it's important to get both sides of all of these stories. So House Bill 5239, another measure that the governor signed yesterday, State Senator Selena Villanueva, a Democrat out of Chicago, carried that bill and explained on the Senate floor earlier in spring session what this bill does.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 5239 prohibits any unit of government, including a home rule unit, from expending any resources to assist any individual or entity seeking to impose civil or criminal liability upon a person or entity for lawful healthcare activity except where necessary to comply with Illinois or federal law, or where an individual or entity is investigating conduct that would be subject to liability under Illinois law. It exempts location information and health records related to lawful healthcare activity from the Freedom of Information Act. It also establishes a cause of action against any offending unit of government with a 2-year statute of limitations after the cause of action is discovered. This is a bill and an initiative from the governor's office. It's a good bill.
And the governor, again, signing this bill yesterday, just to break down some of those things again, the way Republicans interpret this is it's a shield law, right? It says that people can't be, have their private medical information sought by out-of-state enforcement. Republican State Senator Jill Tracy, she reacted to this, asking questions about, does this include minors getting abortions? What about if a minor girl is abused by their stepfather in Missouri, and then they come to Illinois to sign up for public aid, and then that public aid tax dollars are used to perform a procedure to terminate a pregnancy that was caused by an abusive stepfather. I'm being very cautious in not using certain words that could trigger the algorithm a certain way, but ultimately she was worried about what this means for victims of these types of crimes, especially if they're coming in from out of state underage and the taxpayers seemingly footing the bill for this.
That Illinois taxpayers are going to provide these services at their expense to minor children without the knowledge of their parents. It's just astounding to me how we can put some of these together. And these scenarios are not some big conspiracy aluminum hat theories. They're happening every day. And everybody's watching Illinois, and we're giving them cover. And so to me, it's just wrong in so many ways. But let's not aid and abet criminals to take advantage of minors and at our taxpayer expense. It's just incredible.
So that's Republican State Senator Jill Tracy, again, expressing her concerns about that particular piece of legislation. Legislation, again, the governor signed yesterday. He signed 3 bills. So we've talked about 2 of them. Here's one, House Bill 4867. This is from State Representative Anna Moeller, Democrat out of Chicago. She shares what House Bill 4867 ultimately does.
House Bill 4867 includes complementary protection for the right to reproductive decision-making. Specifically, key provisions of the legislation include, it adds a protection against discrimination on the basis of reproductive health decisions to all Illinoisans, giving them the freedom to make decisions concerning whether, when, and how to start a family without the fear of discrimination or retaliation.
She goes on to explain other elements of this getting added to the Human Rights Act in the state of Illinois, but State Representative Patrick Windhorst, Republican from downstate. He's the floor leader asking all kinds of questions, and he was concerned about the impacts on religious organizations that may be, for instance, crisis pregnancy centers. How will they be impacted by this? Will they have to, not discriminate against an employee, for instance, who wants an abortion or somebody coming in who wants an abortion?
Organizations that have a religious affiliation would be exempt under the definition of a religious organization. If a crisis pregnancy center fell under that designation, then they would be exempt, but if not, then they would not be.
Thank you. To the bill.
To the bill.
I believe there are some real concerns about the religious exemptions that have been raised by those organizations, and I'll be voting no. Thank you.
So there you go. Bills the governor signed yesterday that are now law impacting abortion, and unpacking what those laws ultimately are from floor debate earlier in spring session. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell each and every weekday morning. Wake up with us and get the know-how of what's going on in the state of Illinois. Of course, today you've got the governor. He's going to be cutting the ribbon on the state fair. Then the state fair officially opens. But here is, I guess, a moment of zen. Your butter cow, ladies and gentlemen. Your 103rd Illinois State Fair butter cow. We'll leave with that. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Get all the segments that you may have missed by subscribing to America's Talking Network on YouTube. Get the full podcast anywhere you get a podcast. Search Illinois in Focus. And also subscribe to the newsletter with the Center Square, thecentersquare.com. We'll see you guys back here to wrap up the week. Tomorrow, it's Friday, right? Have a great day. Illinois in Focus Daily.